Thanks for watching France 24. It's time for our international press review in the papers, and Nadia Sharbi is here to lead us through the world's press this Friday morning. Nadia, where are you going to start?
I'll start with the trial of Radovan Karadzic that's being compared to the convoluted trial of Serbian President Slobodan Milosevic. With The Independent, this trial must be short and sharp. Geoffrey Robertson, a famed Australian human rights lawyer, writes this opinion piece for the British paper. He reminds readers of the sheer size and scope of a Milosevic trial, which produced over 1.3 million pages of transcripts, legal motions, etc.
That's a lot of papers, that.
Exactly. The lawyer says that lessons must be learned from this counterproductive overload of information, which can turn a trial into a truth commission. Now, according to Robertson, the real question is, how do you give a fair trial to a man who wants to be treated unfairly? Like Milosevic before him, Karadzic has announced that he wants to represent himself and has denounced the court exploiting his trial to make political statements, says the paper. If the defendant continues down this road, says Robertson, the gravity of the charges will require a procedure that will prevent him from turning the dock into a soapbox. That's to say, shifting from an Anglo-Saxon adversarial trial, if he doesn't respond, to a European-style investigative process.
Yeah, and during the first day of the trial, Karadzic, he also alluded to some deal that he's apparently struck with the United States.
Exactly, and interestingly, there isn't much reaction there for the moment in the papers, but we did find this article in the Wall Street Journal. Karadzic enters no plea claiming deal with US, with this great set of hear no evil, see no evil, and say no evil type pictures of the man himself. Karadzic claimed that former US Ambassador Richard Holbrooke cut a deal with him in '96 and then sought to have him killed, claims that Holbrooke has denied in a phone interview with the paper, saying Karadzic has been putting this out for 12 years to cover his humiliation at having lost his jobs, i.e. as president and political party leader. According to him, Karadzic should have been caught in the first 6 months when he was still living out in the open, a failing that was a big mistake.
Right, moving swiftly on now to nuclear power, and apparently French newspapers are taking a little bit of interest in this issue.
They are, after the nuclear mishaps of the past few weeks in France. Aujourd'hui en France looks at the question of how you deal with nuclear waste. It offers a map of where these highly toxic byproducts are stocked in the country, and you have to remember this waste is buried for up to several thousand years, and it appears that sometimes the necessary safety measures aren't respected. A debate on this sensitive issue will take place in France this autumn.
In India, the nuclear power is seen as a positive thing.
A very positive thing. The Hindustan Times has this front page article in the good news section today. India's nuclear isolation within striking distance. The paper also offers a very pro-nuclear graph entitled "What's the Big Deal?" Well, India's just inches away from clinching a major diplomatic success, says the Daily. Today, the country could be given full access to the West's nuclear technology and fuel, a resource it badly needs to bridge an annual electricity shortfall that equals 3 cities the size of Delhi.
All right, we're going to move on to more environmental issues now, the Beijing Olympics.
Exactly.
There's a bit of a cloud hanging over the Beijing Olympics, right?
Exactly, literally. The Chicago Tribune has this editorial cartoon of the US Olympic team landing in Beijing with gas masks. And it's not just pollution, it's also the weather itself. According to Swiss daily Le Temps, the weather actually is the name of that paper, China wants to make the weather bow to its will. Chinese scientists say they can control the weather for the open-air opening ceremony, which for the moment the forecast is rain, light rain, and a front China must counter, says Le Temps. The Beijing Meteorological Bureau's head of weather manipulation has announced that Beijing has successfully carried out experiments to get rid of clouds or induce rain to fall early. The paper gives the recipe in case you've got a barbecue you need to salvage or something, but it warns it's an expensive experiment.
I'm guessing it's the first time that the organisers of the Beijing Games or of the Olympic Games that they're asking for rain and not sunshine. Thanks very much, Nadia and Charlotte, for that press review, and thank you for watching. Stay with us here at France 24.